Hello, and welcome to the first in our series of 3 streams about Curse of Osiris.
Well, fuck me. Here we are, Curse of Osiris about to be released, and here I am making a video 2 weeks before it releases. And I'm already gonna fucking rant. I did this before Destiny 2 released, and I'm gonna do this again before Curse of Osiris. I will fucking rant about this shitty ass bullshit that we constantly see. I've never been a fan of the Destiny reveal streams or the release streams because they spoil shit. They take away the aspect of exploration, the discovery, the seeing of what the new weapons look like, the new armor. It takes away an element of being immersed into this world, into this universe. But this has just totally ruined Destiny 2 for me, especially Curse of Osiris. First off, we've got a host, and this might be the Deej rant of the year, not even the Curse of Osiris rant, but fucking Deej can't host for his life. Deej is too busy trying to stick to a script instead of making his guests feel comfortable. He's the host of the stream. He should be making the guests feel comfortable. He's too busy reading a script and trying to also navigate the chat, and he's not even relaxed himself. If you look at most podcasts or live streams, there's a certain comfort level, both for the guests and the hosts. Deej is always on edge. I understand he has to stick to a certain level of discrepancy and say certain things, but at the same time he has a freedom of being himself. But that's his problem. He has no character, no personality. Setting that aside, let's move on to the gorgeous cinematic that they showed us. I have no problem with it. They actually explain what it is, because I thought it was the Vault of Glass straight up, but it turns out it's not. It's one of the parts that the Vex use, using their AI to see how different parts of the world would have acted, and they can navigate and fix and solve their best ending for any conflict or problems. They explain it better. I'm just skimming through it. I like the way they explain that. I like the aspect of bringing us back to Vogue for this cutscene, but I have one problem with the whole cutscene. Osiris. He's broken from time. He's no longer a part of our timeline. He's been to all kinds of different places, different time periods, thanks to Vex technology. Because as we know, Vex can time travel. So how does he have the Dawnblade? This could be simple. It could be that he went into the future, he acquired this new ability, he already knew the Red War happened, and he gained this slight ability. But what if this Osiris is actually from the past? He hasn't been through the Red War yet, and he's returning after the Red War. He missed the whole Red War. He left before, came back, he's never seen the future. It's just speculative, and I'd like an explanation. Then we've got Sagira, a female, and they emphasize on this, a female ghost with a name. I don't really have a problem with that. It's just I find that the ghost shouldn't have a male or female gender attached to it. Just fuck it. It's a ghost. It's a robotic creature that came from the light by the Traveler, built by the Traveler. Why do we have to specify this bullshit? Once again, it's fucking politics and ideologies, but whatever. It's just cool. The voice actress is going to do a great job, I'm certain, just like Osiris's voice actor. They've got some big names in there. And then we got Brother Vance. Brother Vance came off in an irritating way in this DLC. If you haven't seen the first mission gameplay, and you don't want any spoilers, don't. But I'm just going to talk about how he acts. When we're introduced to Brother Vance, he's very relaxed, calm. He's a follower of Osiris and his teachings. And Osiris doesn't really know he has any followers, nor does he want this celebrity status. But he still has them, and Brother Vance is one of them. So Brother Vance is a representative of all of these followers, and he's very sound-minded. He's hopeful that Osiris will come back. But now that Osiris is finally back, he breaks down and acts like a fucking Justin Bieber fan, seeing Justin Bieber for the first time in a live concert, passing out and not knowing what to fucking do when they wake up because the concert's fucking over.
Ikora Ray, Osiris's greatest student.
Brother Vance, Osiris's greatest fan.
Why? You took a calm, cool, collected character, somebody who was well-rounded and well-developed, to be somebody who Osiris could possibly trust. But instead you break that down and turn him into a fanboy. It's irritating and it pissed me off. And then there's a hole that they're digging themselves. They're not allowing us to have the full exploration that we would have through time-traveling Vex technology. Instead, they're saying you have to go to Mercury, other present-day Mercury, and past Mercury. Future Mercury, present Mercury, past Mercury. That's all we can do. Why? They could have handled this a little differently from what I've just seen from the Infinite Forest, but they're digging themselves a hole and causing us to stay in one place. Mercury. Mercury's not all that interesting. From what I've seen of the public space, it's small, if we're not counting the Infinite Forest. And even the Infinite Forest seems linear in what we can do. Yes, it's randomized to a certain extent, like they say, but it's also linear. You can follow the path to one of these 3 places, explore those 3 places, and come back. And that's all you can do. Yes, the encounters are going to be different, and that would be interesting, but that's about it. But we'll see when it comes out, but it's just something that rubbed me the wrong way. Then we had the gameplay presented by Deej. Deej. Why the fuck was he playing that game? He can't play. No wonder he's a solo player. He can barely fucking sprint. You want him to jump? I can't stand watching him play because he's looking at the ground half the fucking time. What happened to looking at the skybox, looking around you? They're telling him to take a look at the skybox. He's still looking at the fucking floor. They tell him to look at the middle pillar. He just pans away to the left, pans away to the right. He's not staying. If they want to script his gameplay, then tell him, okay, you're going to look this way, you're going to turn this way, we're going to be describing all these events, and you keep, panning in and out, keeping a focus on certain things. It wasn't so much that he wasn't actually killing things, but I would have liked to see, some action as well. Instead, it was just him wandering about, aimlessly, not knowing where to go. Even the developers were trying to tell him, hey, take this path, and he doesn't take it. But I just couldn't stand it. I also wanted to ask, and this is a question for you guys, was that 4K gameplay that they were streaming with, and was it at 60 FPS? I couldn't tell. My computer kept delaying and causing frame rate issues to drop. But when I did get a steady stream, it looked really good. And I wanted to know from you guys, your opinion, was it 4K 60 FPS or just straight up 4K gameplay? But that's something for you guys to know and to tell me. Then we've got the level 25 cap that they lifted up, which is good. 5 more levels, that's not bad. We've never had that in the DLC in the past. The only level adjustments that we had were in the Taken King, and that was 20 levels more. Hopefully they keep adding this with the DLCs, it gives us more motive to grind. As well as they're increasing the level cap to 330 or 335 if you have the mods. Then we have some of the armor that they showed off. The Hunter armor just looks bland. Not bad, but it looks simple. We got the Titan armor, which looks great in my opinion. And then we've got the stupid Warlock helmet, which looks like a giant eyeball. Does not look Vex inspired. It looks Osiris inspired, of course. But it just looks bad. Who the fuck would wear that helmet? Setting that aside, once again, Deej is fucking annoying. He doesn't know how to talk or how to ask questions, nor does he know how to get any answers out of his guests. He just lets them ramble a little, and then he just switches off and goes off to the next question. Discuss, have a conversation with them. There's no problem with that. But he doesn't. Instead, he just sticks to the script and moves on to the next thing. A couple of things that I'm seeing that they also showed and that I noticed. The Infinite Forest is the core of Mercury, which I guess makes sense because Mercury is pretty much just, a giant Vex machine at this point. But at the same time, it annoys me because going by a physics standard, the planet would have fucking been destroyed by now. It wouldn't have sustained itself. The core is what sustains everything together, and it just... Setting that aside, it actually looks really cool. The skybox looks amazing. The Infinite Forest looks cool, but I find that it wasn't done properly. It could have been done a little differently. But we'll get to that when it's about the second stream. This is all about the first stream, everything that we saw. I'm just going through some notes and fucking letting it out. Then we got the heroic strikes. I'm fucking pissed off because the heroic strikes aren't going to be good. The modifiers are shit in Destiny 2. The heroic strikes are just something that they're trying to pander to us. Trying to say, hey, here's our heroics, have fun with them. Fuck you, Bungie. After we bitched about it, you added them. Heroic strikes should have been there in the beginning of the game. You want to compare Destiny 1 and Destiny 2? Well, heroic strikes were there in Destiny 2. Destiny 1, sorry, not Destiny 2. And then you took them out, and now you're putting them back in with the DLC. Are they available for people who don't want the DLC? We don't know. But yeah. Another note that I made, Deej seems uncomfortable, making the guests feeling uncomfortable. Fucking true. Get a new host. Get an actual streamer. Somebody who knows how to host, or a podcast host. Somebody who knows how to make the guests feel comfortable and get answers out of them. Get them to you know, in a way tell us, but indirectly tell us what's going on without actually telling us what's going on. Then we've got the raid, which just gonna be a piece of shit. It has nothing to do with Osiris. Once again, we're stuck on the fucking Leviathan. I want to know more about the Leviathan, but we don't have Grimoire cards, nor do we have any lore related to the fucking Leviathan. It's just, it shows up in our system. I understand Callus comes in with his Cabal fleet and his world-eating ship, but that's about it. It has no impact on the story. It has no change on the system. It would have already fucking devoured Nessus by now. What the fuck is it still doing here? You know? Ah, fuck, man. Another thing I noticed that the developers did say is that you're gonna be dying a lot.
You're gonna die a lot. You're gonna die.
The challenge.
It's very
You're
hard.
gonna die a lot if we survive after dying a lot.
Yeah,
Very,
you're gonna
very
die a
hard.
lot.
You're going to die a lot. You're going to die a lot.
It's challenging and fun. You're gonna be dying a lot for the raid. Are you fucking stupid? Dying a lot isn't fun. Solving the puzzles, finding out how to fight the bosses, now that's fun. Discovering how to do each little raid section, that's all fun. It's the whole process of solving this puzzle, not actually dying. Because when you die, that's when the frustration settles in. And that's when people start to say, I'm fucking done with this. I'm leaving. I'm going to go play Crucible. Next, we also have that they told us the lair is shorter in time. Hopefully. I wouldn't expect it to be a full-fledged raid, because let's face it, Bungie can never do something like that for a DLC this size. And I'll get into the size exactly of this fucking DLC, because I find it fucking absurd. Anyways, the lair is shorter than the actual Leviathan raid, which is good news, because the Leviathan does take quite a bit of time if you're not that efficient at doing it. If you're efficient, I'm sure you could get through it in a few hours if you got a good team. But what really caught me is that this is going to be a whole Crota Zen situation. This is DLC 1 Dark Below all over again, and I hate comparing it to something that happened almost 3 years ago, because I thought they would have learned from now. Because the other two raids that we got, including the Leviathan raid, it's not my favorite, but it's not terrible. I don't like Wrath of the Machine compared to the Leviathan raid, but they were raids. They had certain levels to them of difficulty. They increasingly got more difficult, more team coordinated. You could solo the Crota raid. That's how bad it was. That's how easy it was to do. Is this going to be a similar situation where the lair is just that much shorter? Or is it going to be a series of strike bosses? And just a larger scale strike or a smaller scale raid with a strike boss? That's the real question behind it. And then they also said that we're going to get a second raid layer with the Rasputin DLC. And that's another part of lore that's going to be ruined. I would have enjoyed a Rasputin type raid. Something where Rasputin ends up controlling his Warmind systems to attack us, and we have to get to the Rasputin core and either deactivate it or put it out of commission somehow. And during that time, there's also, you know, Fallen that intervene in all of it. That would have been something more interesting to, you know, explore and really flesh out. But they're not. They're just sticking to this stupid Leviathan shit. I would have been fine with the layers if they also added a raid that was somewhat coherent to the Osiris story and the Rasputin story, but they're not. And this is just fucking ridiculous at this point. I already have the DLCs purchased, and I'm not gonna bother, you know, getting my money back. I will review them, I'll go through them, I'll rant about them, and make sure that you guys don't spend your money on this shit. I'll let you know if it is worth it after a while or if it's not, but right now the state of the game is not worth buying, nor the DLCs. I'll keep you guys up to date. Hell, I haven't touched the fucking game properly in about a month and a half. I've been playing Destiny 1 over again to get some recordings, some clips for another video that I'm working on, but just to show there's no substance. I've been able to play through Destiny 1, only the Destiny 1 content of Vanilla, Dark Below, and House of Wolves, and the state it's in now, the year of its 3rd year, now working on its 4th, but with no added DLC, it still has something there. If you guys haven't bought Destiny 1, go buy it. It's definitely worth it. But anyways, from what I've gathered is that the raids are just going to work completely different. It's got nothing to do with the actual DLC itself. It's just going to work around the Leviathan. Not that much fun. Then we got the second stream, and the second stream really rubbed me the wrong way. The first one wasn't so bad. They just, you know, delved into what they're going to be showing, what's going to be given. We weren't spoiled too much, just saying, hey, this is the content that comes with it, but we can't show you it. Second stream, they showed us the public event. Why would they show us a public event that is so prominent in this space, this patrol area? The one main public event, why would they show it off? Why not talk about it, say how it's got different mechanics, and show us little, you know, screen caps of what's going on, and not actually tell us what's going on. It's large, which I will like, it'll be something to do, but it's going to lose its steam really fucking quick. I saw them play through it, it took them 3, 4, 5 minutes. The fire team was efficient, but imagine doing that with another fire team there, or another 2 fire teams there. That's 9 people. It's going to go like this, done, boom, quick. And God, I just felt like screaming at Deej and slapping him across the face. He went and said, oh, you guys get plenty of loot in this, you know, it's very rewarding, especially since it's heroic.
I promised before that this was the most rewarding public event, and there we have it. We have 2 chests. The most rewarding.
1 token, and then another 2 tokens out of the 2 chests. Oh, and a blue. There was no fucking loot. It was all tokens, as always. Fucking Bungie has changed out of getting this Ingram system and, you know, leveling up your stuff and getting reputation to this token system where you get Ingrams from the tokens as well as reputation, but the reputation counts for shit because now every time you level up, the level is irrelevant because they don't show you the fucking level. I would have liked to know my fucking level. Oh fucking God, I'm gonna lose my fucking shit soon. There was no fucking loot. And he's like, oh, here's the juicy part, we're gonna get some loot. They got 3 fucking tokens, and he's like, there's our loot. What fucking loot? You got 1 blue and 3 fucking tokens, or 2 tokens, however many there fucking were. There was nothing. Nothing. Then they show the Infinite Forest, and this is when I really get into it. It's simplistic. It's too simple. For something that's supposed to be a hive, not hive, well, it's like a hive mind, that's what the Vex are. But it's supposed to be the hub for the Vex to travel into these different AI simulated pasts, futures, and see how the outcome would have been, so they can assess what the optimal outcome would be. It's too simple. You would expect something that complex in theory to also be that complex in practice, but it's not. The Infinite Force is a linear path that you take either to the future, the past, or the alternate present. Nothing too much to it. They showed an adventure that takes place in the Infinite Forest, which I have to say, it seemed fun. You just have to do all this parkour. I do enjoy the aspect of jumping and getting around the map in your own unique way, and especially with the Vex confluxes and buildings that disappear and then reappear in another space and time. Great concept. Why the fuck are there Fallen there? Why the fuck are any of those enemies there? I understand that the alternate future, the dark future, is supposed to be Vex only, and then they speculate whether or not the Fallen would be there, or the Hive survived, or whatnot. But at the same time, technically speaking, the Vex would be the only thing that can survive in an environment where the sun has died. The Fallen would be dead. None of that would happen. Just like the Infinite Force itself, why is the AI simulating, or an AI boss simulating Fallen or Hive or whatever other enemy types that are there? Why is it not Vex defending the Infinite Forest inside? The actual simulation, I can argue against it, I can argue for it, because it's an AI simulating this, and you're there fighting and creating an outcome through the AI's imagination. That's fine. But the Infinite Forest itself should have only Vex defending it. You know? Why is the AI also defending the Infinite Forest? You, as a Guardian, are infiltrating the Infinite Forest. You would think that the Infinite Forest's failsafe system would activate these Vex to come and defend it. No. Instead, it's activating a shitty AI that you could probably walk right through. But setting that aside, it looks like a cool area. The skybox looks great. It looks like a great map. Once again, Deej fucking sucks. He did not make the guests feel comfortable. One of them had already been there the week before. They were uncomfortable to a certain extent. Then we have forging, which they spoke about. I'm not going to get into great detail about it, but it looks like we've got 11 weapons that we can get out of the forging, and they're all gonna be too easy to get. From what I've seen, you can get about 3 in one shot, and then they say it resets. Within 4 weeks, you've got them all. All 11 weapons. That's if you don't get duplicates. And from what I've seen, you take a couple of 2 to 3 hours to grind. So overall, you can do it in 3 days. Not that hard. Not that great. I thought forging would be you have to scavenge for these materials, then you get a schematic, and through the schematic you got to go to someone else, and they would decode it, and you have to get another part of a schematic or a blueprint. You would have to break it down to the point where you can get all the pieces and build this weapon on your own. Not to the point where you just play a strike 2 times and then you go grind out a public event or something and you just magically get this drop. You know, I thought it would actually have some substance to it, but it's got nothing. Then, fucking Deej once again. He acted like the rest of the community did. He compared Dark Below and House of Wolves to what we have now, to what we're gonna get, Curse of Osiris. He can't make that comparison. First off, in between we got Taken King and Rise of Iron. I'd say Rise of Iron was more of a DLC expansion than a full-fledged expansion like Taken King, but Rise of Iron is about what I expected, you know, for something for the scale of the development team that they had. The development team that they had for Rise of Iron is about the same size as the one for Curse of Osiris. And yet, there's more substance in Rise of Iron than Curse of Osiris. Curse of Osiris is about the size of Dark Below, if not smaller. If we take out all of the grinding factor out. Grinding-wise, yes, Curse of Osiris is larger and more efficient in grinding and a lot more fun from what it looks compared to Dark Below, because Dark Below all you had was the raid. But I do have to say one thing, and one thing only, about the Curse of Osiris. It's basically year 4. We're on our 4th year of Destiny now. We had the first year, which had Dark Below and House of Wolves. 2nd year, Taken King. 3rd year, Rise of Iron, and we're on our 4th year, and this is a DLC that you're going to give us. A DLC that IGN itself said that the story seems flat. I'll put up a link to the article, and I'll quote some snippets into the video, but they themselves, their headline is "The story seems flat." The person who played through it for the media coverage that they had grinded through and rushed through the story in 2 to 3 hours. A story about Osiris, a predominant character who used to be the commander of the Vanguard, who was then exiled from being in the tower in the city, who then discovered the tricks of time travel and has discovered the Infinite Force and works around this, who has a following and is basically a celebrity amongst Guardians. There was even an event held in his honor. And this is all you got for me? 2 to 3 hours of story content, 2 of which are strikes? 3 missions held in the Infinite Forest. What the fuck are we getting for our DLC? IGN itself was asking what the fuck is going on. And now we know what's going on with the raid on top of all that. Why? Where the fuck is the content? Where's the substance? I'm paying for this shit. I haven't spent a dime on microtransactions because of this shit. I paid for the DLC and yet I'm getting a shitty DLC in exchange for it? Fuck no, Bungie. You're lucky you already have my money. If I had seen this fucking stream, I would have never bought it. But that's the thing, I bought it ahead of time. 1, because I saw the Osiris name on it, as well as the Rasputin name. And I thought, this is going to be good. As well as I wanted to get content out as early as possible on this shit. And here I am 2 weeks before. I didn't even need to get the fucking DLC to make a rant about it because it's already a piece of shit. I hope they prove me wrong. I hope these 2 to 3 hours of content will be fantastic. Believe me, I'll grind through that shit to see how fast and how quick you can get through it. Believe me, I'll probably get through it in an hour and a half if I can. If I don't have to grind as much as they say they did. Fuck. Mini rant over within the rant video itself. Once again, I've just got this big issue with these streams. They reveal too much content, give us too much exposure to what is going on in the story, in the game that we're going to be getting. But at the same time, it lets you, the public, and myself, know that it's not worth getting this DLC. I will tell you guys now, if you have already returned Destiny 2, don't bother getting it just for this DLC. Wait. If you're a Destiny fan and you've returned Destiny 2, wait. If you have Destiny 2 right now and haven't bought the DLC, wait. Let people review it. Let me take the bullet for you. Don't give them your money. I already gave them my money. I'm not gonna give them another dime. And I don't want you guys giving them any money. I'll give them my money. You guys listen to my voice, my opinion. Then take that with a grain of salt. Go listen to somebody else, take their grain of salt. And then put your opinion, formulate your opinion together off of all our opinions. Look at gameplay. And then if you want to get the shitty DLC, then get it. That's it for me, guys. I've already lost all my fucking energy. Expect a video around the time of Osiris, another rant, or praising them if the DLC is any good. I've been working on a big video as well. That's why I haven't been putting out as much content, but I hope you guys do enjoy. If you did, leave a like, subscribe. If you didn't, comment down below that you didn't like the video, dislike the video, do whatever the fuck you guys want. I'm too tired for this shit. And honestly, if you guys think this DLC is going to be good, good for you. But I'd say wait until there's a review, wait until there's gameplay footage. Not that you know what the story is about, but that you know whether or not there's enough content to avoid another content drought. Because from what I can tell and from what IGN has said, this DLC is going to be just as empty as Dark Below was. That's it for me, guys. I'll catch you on the next one.